Chris knows a lot about making money and a lot about saving money. Let's give it up for Chris Hammond on owning the money game.
All right. Wes comes out to iced tea, I come out to poison. A little slightly difference in music there, but this talk is not about me, guys. This talk is about you. I have 27 minutes to not necessarily change your life about financially, but point you in the right direction. At least get the conversation started. You know, get money on staff meeting topics. And this is Josh Thayer. I'm going to go through just briefly some of my DMs. I call him from broke to BMWs. You know, he came to me massively in debt. His original DM was already gone. He had left the business, and so I kind of inherited Josh, and had negative $7,000 in his account. And by the time we were 6 months later, he had a positive $5,000, which is pretty cool. And now he's on his second BMW, over $20,000 now total in his bank. And I had asked him, you know, what were some of the things that helped you? And he said, you know, just getting on the money train, you know, reading Total Money Makeover, doing those principles. And he never forgot something I told him. He grew up very poor, and he kind of resented rich people. And I said, Josh, you will never become rich if you hate the rich, because you can never become something that you don't want to be. You can never become something that you resent. And he told me that it really stuck with him, and as soon as he started respecting people with wealth is when he himself got on the right direction. His best friend, Nate Reddick, you know, he paid off all his school loans, and he had a lot. Bought this nice brand new Lincoln MKZ hybrid. It's got about 18 grand with holdings on top of that, plus all the rest of the bank accounts. This will be paid off very soon as well. You know, not all at once. We didn't just drain out everything to pay for that, but you know, cash-sensitive business had enough of the holdings. We have new DMs, you know, who are debt-free. Keela just opened up this past May. We have Dave Schaub, who just a year ago bought a house, put 20 grand down on it. Remodeled pretty much every room in there. I remember I checked it out, it was so cool. Pretty much every room except the bathroom, you know, well north of 15 grand of upgrades. He knew he was going to live there, by the way, so he knew he was going to be in Buffalo for a while, so I'm not advocating that everyone should buy a home. That's something you need to talk to your DVM about, but he knew he was going to be there for a while, so it made sense versus paying rent. I got a brand new Dodge Charger as well. All IRAs, fully funded. You know, started 3 college funds for his 2 nephews, or his 2 sisters rather, and his nephew. Started a retirement fund for both his parents, putting $1,000 in each of their accounts just to get them going quickly. Savings bonus maxed always every year. You know, I was just at Mandy Reardon's wedding a couple weeks ago, paid in full. You know, a lot of people go 20 grand in debt for their wedding, 25 grand in debt. That's about how much hers cost, by the way. Paid in full up front. Just took it out of one of her withholding accounts. Pretty cool. Then there's John Fiacco. You know, he's a great guy. He's since 2007, you know, he opened up his Roth IRA when he was a new DM, and he's funded it maxed every year. He buys things. We have credit cards, by the way. It's not like we're 100% on Ramsey. I mean, we have a hybrid approach. We have credit cards, but we pay them in full each month. So in this case, obviously, he went and, you know, dropped almost $1 grand on this toy here before we were going to the club. And but it didn't hurt his savings. Didn't hurt his savings. That's the thing. It didn't. He's given over $25,000 distributed to his nephews, his mom, who are, you know, all of which are on some tough times. Sister, brother, you know, over 25 grand. But he didn't transfer the burden to him. A lot of times when someone helps someone, they're basically transferring the burden on their shoulders, you know, from them onto the other person's shoulders. You never want to do that. You always want to give from your excess. You never want to transfer someone's burden that they cause onto, or sometimes that they cause, onto yourself. That's another reason to make a lot of money, is you can help a lot of people. So this talk is not so much for my division, but for the DMs and DVMs as a whole, okay? For the DMs, I have some immediate action steps that we can have. For the DVMs, get the conversations going in staff meetings, and talks and conference calls, just get the ball rolling. So, when you are debt-free, you kind of look at your house a little differently. It's kind of like, it looks different. It has a different tone to it. It's just, I can't explain it. The grass on your feet feels softer when your home is paid off. It's pretty cool. Check this out. Greg Strine was a millionaire as a DM. I think that as a DM, not as a DVM, as a DM. Kyle Preman from New Hampshire, super cool guy. I was talking to him a lot those last couple weeks. And 10 years ago, he had 11 grand. He saved 11 grand 10 years ago. Now he has over $1 million. That's insane as a district, $1 million. His best year ever was 2009. Sold 785,000 bucks. Best year ever. So never sold over $1 million as an office. His best year was 785. But he took that little by little and grew it to over $1 million. I said, dude, how did you do that? I mean, I didn't do that as a district. I saved, a couple $100,000, but we're both millionaires, but he got it a lot quicker. Let's put it that way, way quicker. I said, dude, how did you do that? You're better than me. And he said, I spent nothing my first 3 years on myself personally. I paid personal bills, but I didn't even get a 99-cent iTunes song. He's like, I saved everything that I could, and obviously it's paid off. So here's what I'm going to do this next 20 minutes. I'm talking a little bit about philosophies, talking about being smart with your money, and saving and investing, okay? So that's where I'm going to go with this, is I'm going to go kind of each of these three topics here. First thing you want to get down is building wealth is a learned skill. If you want to write this book down, it's called Total Money Makeover, if you haven't already read it. Millionaire Next Door, it's a classic. I have Kiplinger's Personal Finance. It's a $12 subscription to a magazine that, it's $1 an issue. You can pick it up on the airport on the way home today. That's for more up-to-date stuff, because that's obviously a monthly publication. And it's not hard. It's really not hard. It's not like I had an interest in money that got me to learn more. It's just that it's easy to learn. Being content is a powerful financial principle. I want you to make sure that if you just write down anything, just put be content. There's always the newest gadgets out there being marketed to us. I know what it's like. I get sucked into it too. All the new gadgets and the iPhones and everything that comes out, you always want to have the newest stuff, whereas what you had before worked just fine. You want to know why Kyle hit a millionaire half the time as me, as a DM, is he wasn't having the DVM lifestyle as a DM. Or for a DM, don't have an RM lifestyle as a DVM. Check out this pic. So this is a picture of my garage earlier. This is the reason why Kyle was a millionaire at a faster rate than me. I was kind of sucked into the toys. And you see on the left there, you can't really see. On the bottom left, that's my dog, Bruno. He's always you can get half his head there. But you see a snowmobile, you got 2 dirt bikes, you got a dune buggy, you got a bunch of 4-wheelers that you can't see all of them. And it was getting out of hand. Had I invested that many years ago when I got those things, it would have been much better. It got so bad I was justifying some of those purchases by saying I bought it for other people. I was buying 4-wheelers for the family. I bought that one on the far right for my wife, And I even put a big red bow on it. I walked her to the garage. I'm like, happy birthday. She's like, oh, great. He bought this for you, didn't you? No, it's for the family. It's for everyone. Yeah, it was for me. Never forget doing donuts in my field and seeing her in the house, looking through the window, shaking her head. Damn it, I gotta go back to jewelry. All right, so Here we go. I got a lot of things in the Money Bag-O tools in your flash drive. There's a lot of stuff there. Number one is 2 accounts. I did a survey with the help of Trent Booth sending it out for me. How many of you took that survey, by the way? There's like a all right, thank you for that. There was over 211 or 200 and something like that, 210 or something like that responses. I read every single one of the open-ended questions, by the way, twice. And while it's impossible for me to handle all, 100 questions in a 26 minutes that I have, it did help me steer this talk in the right direction, so thanks you for your feedback. By the way, best question ever. I really want to know what it is. Obviously, it was anonymous, so I couldn't, it just didn't have, there's no names on it, obviously. Here's the question. Is it true that mo money equals mo problems? Who was that? That was awesome. Can someone own up to that? Because that made me, I fell off my chair. Come to me one-on-one after the talk, all right? You don't want to do it in front of the group, but that was the best, okay? Out of 100 questions, I love that. The answer is no. Mo money does not equal mo problems, whoever that was. Over half of you, 52%, had just one checking account, just commingled. Everything is just coming out of one account, and I really want to encourage you to use 2. It's in my account setup for our division. It's in the flash drive. Even if you had to pay someone to I pay someone to separate it out, that's fine, but that's time you can spend on other things. That's time they can help you on other things instead of sitting there, separating it out for you. It takes no time at all. You just have 2. You have a business card, credit or debit, and you have a personal credit or debit. Again, we pay it off in full every month, but to get the points and the mileage and the I'll never pay for a plane ticket for the rest of my life, and I get a lot of points that way. But it's separated, and it makes taxes so much easier when you can separate them like that. Probably one of the greatest inventions Cutco made since the Double D Edge was the withholdings. Bare minimum. I tell my guys, bare minimum 2% year-round. Bare minimum. Ask your DVM. Some people go 6%. There's some people who go even higher as 10% withholdings. That's a little insane, but you check to see what you can take out without having to constantly go back in again. Most of you, 92% had office insurance. That's good, but obviously that needs to be 100%. We had a flood in my office in Rochester, bad, and lost computers, phones, everything. And it was all paid for. So not only did I get a check to pay for all the stuff, but I got a check to pay for all of it brand new, which is cool. So I got brand new computers, brand new phones from the check from our flood. Real quick about health insurance. I'm not really going to talk too much about that because it's different per state. It's kind of weird right now, all the things that are going on. But at a minimum, you want some major medical. This is like a career-ending type of thing. If you have something that, a $50,000 medical bill or $100,000 medical bill, that could be paid in full with, obviously a deductible, but much better than something bad happening. So get at least major med, check with your state, obviously. Life insurance, I got that once I started having kids. I didn't really have that before. Disability, if you have a home maybe, or kids, then yes. In your money bag of tools, there's a great staff meeting topic for you guys. It's reducing money leaks. And it's basically just a list of things that you can add to that you guys can kind of brainstorm together on and to get you started. It's not a complete list, but it does have a lot of things in there that help you from losing money in business. A lot of personal stuff, too. Going out to eat too often. Going to $5 for a coffee every time. I know it's called Starbucks. I call it $5. Personal entertainment. Most people can't tell a difference between a $200 suit and a $1,000 suit. Most people can't tell the difference if you get, good deals and things like that. So everything is negotiable. We always negotiate everything. Little by little, not all at once. Yes, we're aggressive with debt, but we don't do it at the expense of hurting cash to run the business. So when Josh bought his first BMW, with 11,000 or whatever it was, 12,000 cash. His first one was obviously a good used model. Okay, that didn't like drain out his account. He still had plenty to start his campaign. I'll never forget it, too. It was a Russian guy. It was so cool. You remember that, Josh? We put the cash, and he was kind of egging us on. He's like, it's a BMW. Do you want it or no? Are you too shy to get this car? And that's when we did, it was awesome. We whipped out the cash and put it down. Felt good. No car payment, right? Here's what I'll say about a budget. Again, in your money, bag o' tools. You got 2 budgets, sample budgets. There's thousands of budgets out there, thousands. The point is, pick one, okay? Just pick, anything is better than no budget. I wanted to caution you of delegating too much, because that is the opposite of owning it, isn't it? When you just have someone just do it for you, because you kind of get detached from it and not even look at your expenses. Just looking at a report maybe casually, kind of taking the detached way out. You know, when you travel a lot, you guys, most of you are with me on this, you see when we go to Caribbean islands and Jamaica, stuff like that, a lot of them, we see the tourist section, but we don't see the third world country part. And you'll see a lot of buildings just half built. You know, I was thinking, oh, okay, that was just in the process of building it. And the next year when we went to that same payoff trip, those same buildings were there, half built. And I asked the local guy, I said, what's going on with this? Is it that slow to build here? He said, no. Do you know what happened? Do you know why a lot of these buildings are half built? What happened? They ran out of money. That's what it is. They started the project, ran out of money. You know, 2,000 years ago, this dude named Luke said, first sit down and estimate the cost of the building before construction to see if you have enough money to finish it. Otherwise, people walk by and ridicule you for not finishing your project. Paraphrasing, but that's basically what it said. So 2,000 years ago, this was common knowledge, yet the same thing happens in many places today. Fast forward to today, you guys like John Maxwell. A budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So like I said, on the flash drive, there's a couple things to get you started. You can pick your own, obviously, Mint, whatever. There's thousands of them online for free. Anything is better than none. Now, that personal budget, okay, the personal one that's in the drive or whatever one you use, that's going to be used in conjunction with the account setup, because whatever you figure out, sometimes people say, well, you know, I don't know what to put on there. Just put your fixed expenses first, your rent, your cell phone payment on your car, whatever, and then give yourself a money. You're telling your money where to go. Put $100 for entertainment for a month or something like that. I don't know. And then the key is sticking to it. And that's what you pay yourself. It's funny because sometimes we get these large influxes of cash through bonuses and monthly bonuses and quantum bonuses. And that's the key is to stick to the budget when you get those big influxes of cash. You're telling yourself, you're paying yourself like any other teacher job or plumber job or anything like that. I paid myself as a teacher the first 4 years as a DM. I was on a $30,000, it was 28 or something like that. It was like around $30,000 a year salary. That's what I was on. Went from my business account to my personal account, totaled 30 grand a year my first 4 years. Now, I made a lot more than 30 grand. Okay, not so much my first year, but the second year a little bit more, and then third and fourth year for sure. But I still paid myself like a teacher. Okay, so you just cover whatever it is, $1,500, $2 grand a month, you know, $2,500. Your bank for free will transfer that from your business to your personal account, and that's all you have to live on. The rest is savings and investing. So let's talk about that. I'm a big fan of emergency funds. Minimum $5 grand. You know, used for actual emergencies, not stealing for it to get something, to get a new, you know, gadget for your office or for yourself, but actual business emergencies, that helps a lot. Have savings goals. You want to have a tip for your management candidates? Here's what you tell them. You go through all the promotion levels? Awesome, you're an FSM. Sally, that's great. Now you need to go back through the levels, but in savings. So have you saved your first grand yet? That's the first promotion in savings in our division. Oh, cool. You have? All right, cool. What about 3K? You're almost there? Awesome. Your next goal is 6K then. You see that? We repeat the promotion levels the company has for sales for savings. then 10. Now, obviously, the 20 and 30 is mostly reserved for managers. Hey, when you become a manager, you can hit the 20. Not all. We have some people in our division. My pilot is at 20 right now, 20 grand, say, in withholdings. Well, I think 16 withholdings, 4 grand in his other account from home. But so total 20. But so as a DM, 10. If you had 10 grand saved, yes, okay, then 20, then 25, then 30. Okay, and then after that, now what? That was one of the questions we got. What about after 30,000? Okay, 50, 100. Then it goes 250, 500, and then $1 million. And then 2 million, and then 3 million, and then 5 million, and then 10 million. So you gotta have goals, put a deadline on it. Start now, okay? Why? Because you guys know why, compounding interest. You know this rule, right? Money is doubled every 7 years, approximately. That means when invested, low-cost mutual funds, average of about 8% return interest. Not going to go through it, but your money about doubles every seven years or so. So 28 years from now, doubled 4 times is multiplied by 16. That's what that means. So now you add 28 years to your life, and everything is multiplied by 16. So every decision that you make, let's say you go out to eat. Let's say you spend $100 going out to eat every week. That's $5,200 a year, right? Multiply times 16. That's $83,200. That if you invested going out to eat, instead of packing, brown bagging it, whatever, eating cooking it yourself, that's $83,000 you took from your 48-year-old self or 50-year-old self down in the future. So next time you go out to eat, ask yourself, is it worth 83 grand from when I'm 50? Because that's what it is. Think about your 50-year-old self or your 60-year-old self. Are you robbing him or her? Many of us are. So let's take a look at the implications here. I'm sure you guys seen this, right? So Bill invests 10 grand, nothing else at age 25. Okay, you multiply it out, assuming about 8% or so over 40 years. Over 40 years, 452 grand. So his buddy Ted started 10 years later, said, I'm going to catch up to Bill. Even though Bill stopped investing, I'm going to add $100 a month until 65. I'm just going to keep adding it. So his total invested is 46 grand. So I invested 46, Ted said. Bill invested only 10 grand. So Ted should have more money, right? Most of you know the answer, no. It only comes to 372 grand. Why? Because he started 10 years later. So here's what I do. A lot of the questions are, hey, what do you do? I want to know. And I don't want you just to mimic what I do, but I got the question a lot. So I definitely like dollar cost averaging, where you put a set amount each month in, because if the market is doing great, well, you're going to ride the wave. If it's doing really bad, you're buying stuff at discount. You're buying stuff really cheap. So when I was putting money in 2008, it was really cheap. It's like stuff like quarter on, 50% off stuff. And I made a lot of money when I was buying stuff in that horrible time, 2008. Okay? Now, I had some stuff that stuck in there too that went down, but it came back up again and then some. But the stuff that I was buying was really good. I go in low-cost, growth, moderate-risk mutual funds. Smith Barney, by the way, did you know that if you go, they use a lot of American funds. You go anyplace else, they're going to charge you 5.5% on your money. You give them 10 grand, $550 commission, gone. So you only have $9,500 to play with. Not with Vector. Did you know that sales charge is waived only for people who work in Vector, in Cutco and Olean? 10 to 15% is a good number to take out, to put in there. Start somewhere, even $50 a week, even $50 a week, it's $2,600 a year invested. You keep doing that over $1 million 40 years from now. Promise yourself you'll do that. It's one extra 3-piece special you need to sell a week. One of your reps needs to sell a 3-piece special. There's your $50 to put in to be a millionaire 40 years from now. I also have Vanguard. It's just one of the cheapest around. Again, it's not like I'm married to any of these, but Vanguard, Fidelity's, Fully funded, I have obviously Roth IRA, we want to max that out. You start with the end in mind, start with the oldest self first, this is your 60-year-old self. You start there and you work backwards. Why? Because you can have the benefit of the time. So you start with your IRAs, and I have a SEP, obviously. So you can put more money in if you want to go up to a SEP. That's really all you need. You can have more. I also have JP Morgan. It's just a local, Chase Bank, you may have heard of it, owned by JP. Jamie Dimon is one of the smartest financial minds, so I kind of follow him. They have a hand in the Federal Reserve. Anyone who has a hand in the Federal Reserve, which is more powerful than somewhere with the president, kind of know what they're doing. So I'm a private client there. You can't even talk to them unless you hand them at least 100 grand to play with. They prefer, though, more, but they'll get you started with 100 grand. So when you get higher up, you can do that. They have this special card. It's a Palladium card. It's like supposed to put the American Express black card to shame. And it's made out of palladium. So the card itself is $1,600 of value if you were to melt it down and say, oh, I said, did anyone ever do that? Did they melt it down and say they lost it? He's like, no, the people who have these cards, they don't need $1,600. If you get high enough, the JP Morgan squad, check this out, it's like if you get arrested in another country, they will send a team down to get you out. I thought that was so cool. And I don't have enough to have that yet. That's more in the multiple millions. But I'm like, that's awesome. I go to Mexico all the time for my company. There are these payoff trips. Something like that could happen, especially how we treat their jet skis, It's like, yeah, we'll send a team, and we will get you out. We'll ask questions later. We'll get you out first. We'll ask questions later. We'll get you back to the U.S. And I didn't qualify for that caveat yet, but that one day, that's going to be pretty cool. Speaking of rich people, by the way, please read the 21 ways of how rich people think different than, not now, but after, plane ride home. It's on your flash drive. Great article, controversial article, by the way. Got a lot of heat for it, but it's the stuff. You know what? I agree with like 20 of the points. 20 of the 21 points is pretty much dead on. So it's on there, okay? You can't have a talk about making money without giving. So, I don't know, over 2,000 years ago, there's a king named Solomon who said, one gives freely, it grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give, only to become poor. Some people call it karma. Some people call it universe rewarding you. Whatever, that's fine. But I just know it works. I give 10% of whatever I make to my church. I have several other organizations. My wife and I have two kids that we adopted from Haiti that we are financially, so really have 5 kids, that we are committing to financially supporting to at least age 18 for them. So by being a blessing to others, I really think it comes back to you. Obviously, ask your DVM or RM about this, when and where, but it's obviously and once I started buying a home and started putting extra towards the principle of that, it was so cool. Like I said, never forget that last check I wrote. I think it was 26 or 27 grand I just wanted to get rid of the last principal. I took a little from one of the withholdings there, and boom, and it was so cool. The house looked different. Changing your family tree. I will not have an inheritance. I already know. My dad and mom were not. My dad did pretty well, but he pretty much is already giving his money away elsewhere. So I'm pretty sure I will not get anything. But I want to have something for my descendants to use for education or whatnot, something powerful. Toys. The key is, guys, is retire when you want to, not when you have to. So let's do this. Let's all get good at this. Let's start the conversation. I hope that we can really start talking about this more in each of your divisions. And next year we'll have too many slides of DMs to show. Thanks.